Joining me in studio, we have the co-founder of a company which aims to support small to medium enterprises. So you definitely want to listen. We've got Emmanuel Luthuli, who founded Lante OTC. Welcome, Emmanuel.
Thanks for having me.
Emmanuel, please tell us what your company does.
Lante OTC administers an investment platform that enables investors to co-invest in vetted small to medium-sized businesses, what's traditionally known as crowdfunding, although we try and divorce ourselves from calling ourselves a crowdfunding entity.
Yeah. And what is crowdfunding?
Crowdfunding is where a number of people contribute various amounts or pool together various amounts in order to meet to raise money for a particular project.
And you studied actuarial sciences, as far as I understand.
Yes.
And then you decided not to take your board exams, but venture on to entrepreneurship.
It's not that I decided not to take the board exams, but they decided not to take me after I wrote a few, yeah.
Sure. And what sparked that desire to pursue entrepreneurship?
I faced a lot of challenges in writing my board exams, and I didn't meet their passing criteria. Actual science is not for everybody, and I learned that perhaps I could do my luck or try my luck in entrepreneurship, and here I am now. Yeah.
And these days we find many young people, millennials, who are sitting at the crossroad trying to figure out whether entrepreneurship or a 9-to-5 job. What factors should they take into consideration when making this decision?
I think perhaps if we take 2 steps back to that question, I think that it's a very hard decision one should make. One, because there's a lot being written about the very few entrepreneurs that actually really make it, like your Mark Zuckerberg, etc. But the majority of the businesses fail, and nothing is written about them. That's where the education or the decision making needs to fall into play.
And what are the challenges that you faced now being in entrepreneurship? Like as you said, we know businesses fail. So I know you've overcome things in order to get to where you are. So what have you overcome and how?
Perhaps maybe let me outline some of the challenges. The first biggest hurdle that I had to encounter was one of funding. Setting up infrastructure, employing actuarial analysts, that comes at a premium. And having to look for funding was one of the challenges. Although I read up online that funding is there available to deserving entrepreneurs, but I somehow couldn't access it for the very longest time. Then I ended up taking a risk, cashing out my pension fund and starting Lante OTC. But one other challenge that came after I got the funding was one of regulation. I learned it the hard way. It took me over a year to acquire an FSB license as well as the NCR license. And the third challenge that I faced was one of having to get skilled staff. In terms of getting the developers right, the systems were not working to what I saw fit, as well as, the industry is changing pretty fast. If you look at 5 or 10 years ago, there was no your Facebook, there was no Uber. And now there is, and so the competitive landscape is fast erupting. And the minute that I established the crowdfunding platform, I quickly discovered that there were about 3 or 4 other crowdfundings in South Africa. And having to operate in the internet space, you'd find that you're not competing against South African businesses, you're competing against the international businesses, which are currently battling, luckily, there are tighter laws in the United States that don't permit crowdfunding, which gives us an edge to getting ahead. But we're trying our best. Every day is a journey, learning new things, and we have to overcome multiple things on a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely beneficial for people who are starting out in the entrepreneurship world to find out about your successes and failures and how you've overcome that. So thank you so much for sharing with us today. We really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
That was Emmanuel Luthuli from Lante OTC, and that's all from me, Puno Silisho, on The Big Interview.